Pisces, this is your astrology forecast for April 2016. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you as always. You start the month really working on achieving your goals, your hopes and dreams, and I think you're really in a very constructive and productive frame of mind. You've got a lot to feel good about. You have a lot of energy in your first house of self in Pisces. You've got Neptune, the south node of the moon, Chiron, your midheaven, and Venus, all in your sign of Pisces. So you start the month with a real feeling of strength, a real feeling of anything is possible. Finally, you're in a period where it seems like your dreams and fantasy can possibly match reality. You feel like there's an opportunity to amend past disappointments and to really achieve your dreams. You feel in touch with kind of the other. You feel like your imagination is fired. You're very strong about what you want to do with work. I think you feel very aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, and you're looking for something that you really love to do. So the midheaven there is really the energy that you use when it comes to your work, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. So at the beginning of this month, it's very likely that you discover your life purpose when it comes to what do you give to the world, what do you give to the planet. Look out for that at the beginning of the month. That theme, that energy heightens and gets stronger. By the time the 4th of April comes around, the moon is now in your first house as well, in Pisces. So you feel totally at ease within yourself. So rummage around yourself a little bit, move the boxes, move the shattered dreams, move the past relationships. See where like the life goal is. If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing with your life, a lot of us don't. If you don't know what your dream career is, what you're looking for in a partner, whether you want a partner, if you just are in the dark, this is a really good time for self-discovery, to understand more about yourself. It's great for you to have a reading. If you want some outside support, someone to kind of bounce your ideas off of, that's great. But if you're someone who either doesn't want anyone else's input, or if you can't afford a reading, or if that's not something you're interested in, then it's a really good time to go within and to pull those treasures of information out. So kind of keep a journal, maybe even by your bedside table here at the beginning of April. Write down what you get, see what that means, do meditations and see the images, the messages you get from those moments. They're really going to be very aligned and very informative about who you are as an individual, as a person. On the 6th of April, Mercury goes into Taurus in your 3rd house. So the way you communicate and the way you talk and the way you get your point across becomes really paramount now. I think you're very solid and in tune with what your own beliefs are. I think you're very articulate at the moment. I think you're very able to express yourself, and I think you'll want to do that in some sort of tangible way. If you're a Pisces and you've always wanted to write a book, from the 6th of April on, when Mercury goes into your 3rd house, is a very, very good time to do that. On the 6th of April here, it's not just the personal planet Mercury that changes sign, it's also Venus. Venus goes from Pisces, your sign, into Aries in the 2nd house. And that pushes you and that makes you focus on career and money. So at the beginning of this month, April 1 to April 5, you're very much in touch with yourself, the ideas, the fantasy, all of that is very much clicking and meshing within your own mind. And now things are kind of plonking down onto planet Earth. You become more focused and engaged with making money or putting these ideas into practice. You're very interested in giving a tangible structure to your ideas and expressing them in some way. On the 7th, the new moon happens, and the moon moves forward in your 2nd house and joins the sun, and it pulls in Aries energy. So you're going to be massively fired up, okay? You're going to be sweating a little bit. You're going to feel like you need to drive things forward and to achieve something. You need to go out there and make it happen. You want to overcome obstacles, and you're not going to let anything stop you, and especially this is a good time for you to make money. So if you on weekends or something, let me check what the dates are here in April. The 7th of April is a Thursday. So that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday onwards, if you want to make some money, if you want to go out there to have a market stall or to launch your own business, the 7th is the best day for it, but that energy lingers and it's a great time to go out and to create and to overcome obstacles to create for yourself, especially when it comes to finances. On the 9th of April, there's a grand trine in Earth in your chart. It connects your Jupiter, your Pluto, and your Moon. And Jupiter's in the 7th. This is a wonderful time to communicate your hopes and dreams to someone who's in your life. So this is a 10 out of 10 for strengthening and solidifying your existing relationships. It's also good for meeting new people and really showing them who you are from the get-go. So if you're in a relationship and you've wanted to have a ring on your finger or for the two of you to move in together, explain that. Mention it. It's a bit difficult to say, listen, I want you to propose to me now. That's a bit trickier. But, you know, I want this to be a more committed relationship. What should we do? Where should we go in future? That's a very good conversation to get started. And also, if you're on a date or if you're looking for love, you can really come across as really likable, really very much like yourself, and you can really get that started. That's really the gift and the talent you've got around the 9th. On the 12th of April, the moon starts to square your midheaven and your Venus, which is sitting in your 2nd house. Okay, so you have an intuitive knack at this time on how to assert yourself, how to drive forward to make money. That's really something that you're very good at. So money is excellent for you at this time of the month. And that's really the second opportunity you've got for money. And I'm talking about this like money you can create for yourself by what am I doing today to make money off my own back. Really good time for you. On the 13th, another grand trine occurs. And this one is, again, let me just zoom out here. That's in Earth again. And it connects your Mercury this time to this grand trine. So relationships, communicating what you need in relationships so that you can realize your hopes and dreams is really something that April delivers. I'm just trying to explain that. I'm just trying to think of a way of explaining this. I mean, sometimes we don't want to communicate things because we want things to occur naturally off their own back. Sometimes we don't want to communicate things because what if I get the wrong answer? Sometimes the unspoken is communication in itself. But here on the 13th, it feels like things are clicking into place. My hopes and dreams are this, the relationship, or I think it's mainly to do with other people and relationships. It's thriving, it's growing, and that makes me feel like I'm getting the message here. I'm getting the right communication. And that works both ways, you know. So if you're in a good place with the relationship and you feel like, yes, I feel very happy, this is all working well, you can be sure that the other person feels that too. If there's some sort of discord or a sense of, you know, dis-ease within a relationship, then you can be certain that is coming across to the other person as well. And on the 13th, it's a great time for harmony, and it's a great time to really see whether it's working or not. It's very likely that it will be working. If on the 13th you're with your other half and you're fighting and you're arguing all the time, that's a very clear signal that this isn't the relationship for you and that it's not going to work out. On the 14th, the moon sesqui squares Saturn. Saturn is in your 10th house, okay? And Pisces, it's interesting for you because you're very driven to make money here and you're driven to succeed. But at the same time, you've got Mars driving you in terms of your career, but you've also got Saturn in that 10th house, both in Sagittarius. So you're driving forward to make money, to improve your career, but on the other hand, you're really questioning what direction you're going in and asking yourself whether it's right. So if at this time, again, it's very personal, if it feels like, yes, absolutely, I'm going in the right path with this career, I'm totally happy with it, you can rely on that information that this is a career, a job that's aligned with your life purpose. If you feel like, it's not really right, I'm making the money, but I don't really feel this so much, then that is, again, a message that this is not something that's ultimately going to click into place for you and that you need to change. So Saturn there in Sagittarius is like quality control. It's like discovering it makes you look at things really clearly and say, is this right for me, or is this just rubbish? Without kidding yourself. And that doesn't feel very comfortable, but you're really asking those questions when it comes to your working life, your career. On the 15th of April, there are two grand trines in the chart. One's in fire, one's in earth. So the earth one I've already talked about. This is that knack for you to realize your hopes and dreams in relationships. The fire one is really discovering now what it is you want to do in your working life. That quality control is doing its job there. And I personally feel that if you're questioning what your path is, what your career is, that the 15th of April is the most explosive, most insightful, most powerful day for you to discover that meaning and to actually then pursue it. It's very rare. I mean, I've been doing these forecasts for a long time, and I don't think I've ever had two grand trines in the same day. It's very rare, and one is rare enough, you know, ease and talent and things flowing naturally and easily. But two, it's just like, wow. So relationships and work, they really click into place, and you're going to have a fabulous day on the 15th. On the 16th, Chiron opposes the North Node. And, you know, you're going in the right direction. With this opposition, you might go a little bit haywire in terms of your dreams. And you might flit off into fantasy land a little bit, okay? Don't let focus on reality. I think your relationships are good, okay? Don't muddy the waters by thinking, oh, you know, this guy is wonderful. He's handsome and kind and loving and successful and good looking and, you know, all of that stuff. But he doesn't have a white horse, and nor does he have a suit of armor. Then really you're being a little bit too much. You're fantasizing, and sometimes fantasy is great because it helps you to manifest. I want this and I'm dreaming of it and I'm imagining it, therefore I can create it in my life. That's productive. But if you're taking something good that's good already and you're looking at it, but it isn't like every aspect of every possible dream I could possibly have, then you're just kind of robbing yourself of something good in your life. And the 16th, I think you have the potential to really sabotage yourself when it comes to relationships. So don't break up with anyone on the 16th. At least if you're not sure, wait till the next day, because the 16th, I don't think you're particularly in your right mind. On the 17th, the moon goes into Virgo in your 7th house, and it restores order. It restores kind of groundedness. And you might be disappointed by that because you find Virgo a little bit boring and dull and a little bit like unimaginative. But I feel that this is a good relationship. However, if on the 17th you get the message that, oh, you know, I'm settling for this. This isn't my dream. I wanted the guy in the white horse. If it doesn't go away on the 17th, then really you're kidding yourself. Then that's a genuine dream that you had and that you really want. So kind of check in with yourself, but ultimately that should be like a mental foible on the 16th that kind of floats off and disappears and pops away. If it continues on into the 17th, then you need to take it seriously. So give it those 2 days to evaluate what's going on. On the 20th, the moon goes into Libra, and it opposes Venus in Aries. Okay, this is interesting. Venus in Aries is really giving you a sense of love and joy when it comes to your own independence, especially with money. And then the moon gives you a real sense of ease and comfort when you connect with other people and you let other people take responsibility. So today you have a nice balance there. You can really do either. You can work in conjunction with other people. You can be independent. This is a very peaceful, very happy day where regardless of what you're doing, you're going to feel at peace pretty much. On the 22nd, the full moon occurs, and that's in Scorpio in your 9th house. A full moon is a blossoming, and Scorpio energy is very intense. It's very like, let's look beneath the surface, let's explore the deepest, darkest taboo things. And it's in the 9th house, so you really want to explore. You really want to get to the hidden places, especially when it comes to travel, education, or your own personal growth. I think you're not satisfied. I think you want more. And I think this full moon is going to give you a sense of restlessness in terms of, okay, I thought I had what I wanted, but I still want more. And it's good because it means that you will continue to strive. So if you feel a little bit uncomfortable during the full moon, just have a think about what comes in and what you're being presented with, and take that seriously because it matters. On the 23rd and 24th, the moon continues through the 9th house, still in Scorpio, and it opposes Mercury in the 6th. Mercury, not in the 6th, Mercury in Taurus in the 3rd. Mercury is in Taurus very practical, communication, the desire to communicate practically, to write a book, to record something, all of those things. That's why I said it was so good for you to write a book or something with this Mercury in Taurus here, in the 3rd house. Because it doesn't get much better. You're really going to be able to put ideas and thoughts and put them into something physical, practical. It opposes the moon in Scorpio, so it might mean that you're a little bit too involved with the emotional side of things to continue to be productive. I would urge you to continue to be productive if you have started doing something, because then you can give a voice to those emotions. If you just go into the emotional side of things, you can get lost in them and you can become completely unproductive around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. On the 26th of April, Mars, Saturn and the Moon, they all conjunct in your 10th house. So this is a fabulous day for you career-wise. Total balance between push and pull. This is really an amazing day for you career-wise, 10 out of 10 in terms of your career and your working life. On the 28th, Mercury goes retrograde. I know, it's really sad. It's happening 4 times this year. It's not good. It happened in January, first time, which was tragic. For me personally, it was super tragic because my kitchen appliance exploded. I had coffee on my ceiling. I don't know, I probably mentioned it. Sorry if I'm boring you. But my website had issues. It was just very difficult and very time consuming, and getting things fixed took forever as well. So let's hope this second one isn't as bad. This time it's in Taurus, which I think should mitigate it a little bit, because Taurus is Earth. It's very kind of steady. It's very like, oof, you know. So if the thoughts and the communication is pretty solid and settled anyway, then if it goes retrograde, it can't go that wrong, you know. So for instance, if Mercury is in Gemini and then it goes retrograde, it's like, oh my god, you know, then things really are topsy-turvy, upside down, and a problem. So I don't think this Mercury retrograde is going to be too bad. It's there until the 22nd of May. So during the retrograde, just look at alternate ways of looking at doing things, communicating, getting things, your point across. And the more it's actually physical, the better. So rather than talking and getting a lot of misunderstandings, write it down or write an email. It's better. On the 29th of April, the moon squares Venus. The moon is in Aquarius in your 12th house. Venus is in Aries in your 2nd. You might get another idea, or this is a great idea to actually be inspired, again, how to make more money. And I think that's really, you have a knack for that this month. Really a bit of an entrepreneur, a bit of a, like an independent worker, like people who go on Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, you know, but someone who does things off their own back. You really have a knack for that. So explore that. You could really make your fortune. You know, if you have, all you need is one good idea, like that Jamaican sauce guy. Reggae sauce? Is it reggae sauce? He went on Dragon's Den. He said, I want to make this sauce. And like years later, he's like, oh, he's in every supermarket. He's made a whole bunch of money. He's now opening a restaurant. He's doing really well. So he had to start somewhere, and so can you. And you have a knack for it in April. 30th of April, the month finishes here with Venus going into Taurus. Venus goes into Taurus in your 3rd house. So you've been very good at communicating. The retrograde would slow that down at the end of the month. But Venus props Mercury up a bit now, because Venus goes into the same house as Mercury. It's love, it's what you love, it's what you create in a Taurus way. Venus rules Taurus, so it's very happy there. and it helps pick things up. It's kind of picking up the slack from Mercury. So you go into May now on a very solid basis, very good at communicating, very able to get your thoughts, your ideas across in some tangible way, and feeling positive. Feeling really positive about what's to come. So I think you have a good month. I think you have a very, it's quite wild, you know, things are all over the place, but I think you move into May on a much more settled, more solid basis, and you enter the new month with confidence and ease and positivity. So I hope that gives you some ideas of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order a reading with me there. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next month.